They say greed has a shadow, a long, dark thing that stretches from the deepest desires of your heart. But in the forgotten hills of Blackwood Gorge, that shadow has a name: the Widow's Kiss. It's not a legend whispered by a campfire. It's a cold, hard truth buried 1,000 feet underground in the collapsed tunnels of the old Blackwood mine. And at its heart, a vein of gold so pure, so bright, it was said to weep tears of sunlight. But this gold, my friends, is cursed. The story begins in 1888 with Silas Gravedigger Kane, a man whose hands were as calloused as his heart. He wasn't the first to find the mine, but he was the first to claim its prize. He blasted his way through a rockfall that had sealed the lower levels for decades, and there it was. A cavern glittering with gold that snaked through the quartz like golden lightning. Silas, blinded by avarice, didn't notice the strange, cold air or the silence that seemed to swallow sound. He filled his sacks, his mind already spending the fortune. He never spent a dime. They found him at the mine's entrance, his face a frozen mask of terror, his hands empty, and his hair turned snow white. The gold was gone, back in the belly of the earth. The locals said he'd seen the weeping widow, the ghostly guardian of the mine, and she'd kissed the life right out of him. For 50 years, the mine lay silent. The story of Silas Kane became a boogeyman tale to scare children. Then came the Great Depression, and desperation is a powerful motivator. A group of 4 down-on-their-luck prospectors led by a man named Jedediah Strong decided to brave the curse. They were practical men, armed with dynamite, pickaxes, and a healthy dose of skepticism. They found the entrance easily enough, a dark maw in the mountainside. The air grew colder with every step, and their lantern light seemed to shrink, pushed back by an oppressive darkness. One of them, a young man named Billy, swore he heard a woman humming a lullaby. The others laughed it off as the wind. They found the cavern, just as the legends described. The gold pulsed with a faint ethereal light. As they started to work, the humming returned closer this time. Then the lanterns began to flicker. One by one they went out, plunging the men into absolute blackness. Panic erupted. Jedediah, trying to keep his crew calm, lit a match. In the brief, flaring light, they saw her, a spectral woman in a tattered 19th century dress, her face veiled in shadow, standing at the far end of the cavern. The match died. The screaming started. Only Jedediah made it out, babbling about whispers in the dark and hands of cold stone dragging his friends into the rock itself. He spent the rest of his days in a sanatorium, drawing pictures of a weeping woman on the walls of his room. The curse was no longer a story, it was a warning. The government officially condemned the site, erecting fences and warning signs, but you know how it is. A story like that, a treasure like that, it's a magnet for a certain kind of person. Fast forward to the 1980s. A team of paranormal investigators, armed with the latest tech, EMF meters, thermal cameras, and audio recorders, decided they would be the ones to solve the mystery of the Blackwood mine. They were the Spectre Seekers, led by the charismatic and slightly arrogant Dr. Alistair Finch. They saw it not as a treasure hunt, but as the paranormal case of the century. Their first night in the mine was an investigator's dream. EMF meters screamed, EVPs picked up a clear voice whispering, "Get out," and thermal cameras captured fleeting cold spots in the shape of a person. Alistair was ecstatic. He was convinced the curse was just a residual psychic imprint, a historical echo. He felt they were in no real danger. That was his fatal mistake. On the second night, they ventured deeper, determined to reach the gold chamber. They found the path blocked by a new rockfall, one that wasn't there the day before. As they debated what to do, the ground began to shake violently. The rocks around them started to groan and shift, not like a natural tremor, but as if the mine itself was alive and trying to crush them. They scrambled back, but the tunnel behind them had changed. It was longer, twisting in ways it hadn't before. It was a labyrinth, their radios filled with static, then a soft, sorrowful weeping. One of the crew, a cameraman named Dave, screamed that something had grabbed his leg. The others turned to see him being pulled, impossibly, into a solid wall of rock. The rock rippled like water for a moment, then solidified, leaving no trace. The remaining three ran for their lives, navigating the shifting, impossible maze. Only Alistair's assistant, a young woman named Sarah, survived. She was found wandering the woods, catatonic, clutching a single small nugget of gold that was ice-cold to the touch. The footage they shot was never recovered. This brings us almost to the present day. After Sarah's ordeal, the mine was sealed with concrete and steel, an unbreakable tomb. Or so they thought. 2 years ago, a tech billionaire and extreme adventurer named Julian Croft became obsessed with the legend. He believed technology and brute force could beat any curse. He hired a team of elite engineers and demolition experts. They didn't use pickaxes. They used ground-penetrating radar, seismic sensors, and laser-guided drills. They bypassed the main entrance, drilling a new, secure shaft directly down into what their radar identified as the main cavern. It was a sterile, high-tech operation. The team wore environment suits, communicated over encrypted channels, and had a command center on the surface monitoring every vital sign. They breached the cavern. The sight was breathtaking. The gold was there, brighter than ever. Croft, watching from the command center, laughed in triumph. "So much for your ghost stories," he gloated. But as the first robotic arm touched the largest vein of gold, every screen in the command center went dead. All communication was lost. Backup systems failed. The generators powering the entire operation sputtered and died, plunging the mountaintop into darkness and silence. Rescue teams were sent in, but the shaft Croft had built was gone. Not collapsed. Gone. The Earth was seamless, as if the billion-dollar tunnel had never existed. And Julian Croft? He vanished from his command tent. No signs of a struggle, no footprints leading away. He was just gone. All they found on his desk was a single, perfect marigold, a flower that doesn't grow anywhere in Blackwood Gorge, resting on a map of the mine. So the widow's kiss remains deep in the earth, guarding its glittering treasure. Some say the spirit is the miner's wife who died of a broken heart, forever protecting the gold that took her love from her. Others say the gold itself is a living entity, a honey trap set by the earth to punish the greedy. Whatever the truth, the Blackwood mine serves as a chilling reminder. Some treasures are not meant to be found, and some doors are best left unopened. The greed of man is a powerful force, but sometimes it comes up against something much older and much, much stronger. Thank you so much for journeying with me into this chilling tale. If you love stories that explore the dark corners of the world, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments what you think the true nature of the curse is. Stay curious, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.